Hi there, friends. Welcome back. I'm going to paint a little one tonight. This is the 4x4. I have a few shows coming up. One's November, one's December, so I'm just starting to think about that. And I order little custom frames from Frankenframe, Franken, Frankenframe out of Tennessee. And if you get on there, it's still a little wet. I put some acrylic on it. If you get on there and you look through their clearance moldings, you can get some pretty good deals on little frames like this. They do a wonderful job, and they really pack them well. So anyway, I still have a batch of 4x4 frames, so I want to have little things available. So I'm going to start occasionally working on some of these 4x4s. I'm doing a similar thing to what we did the other night. Let me angle you down. I put a geranium in a jar, but we're going to just crop in on the neck of it and the bloom. Get you back here. I think that's pretty good. So I just opened my view catcher wide open because that's square. You know, we're doing a square canvas. And I look through that for my composition. So let's get a brush and we'll sketch it on. Right now I'm working out of a palette box, which I usually paint right out of my EZL easel, but I'm working out of the Masterson box. I put my paints in there because I went out to paint plein air yesterday and had to take my French easel because I was working a larger canvas. All right, let's see where things land. I want to get the blooms in. I've got a light on it with a, okay, I'm looking through it. I like what I see. I see the water line. Okay, so the neck of the bottle is almost hitting about half, and the water line's pretty low. Yeah, everything's going to be fairly tiny. Got a bloom here, a bloom here. It's actually 3 blooms. One's kind of back in there. And I looked around and I got one that has the little buds hanging, which I thought was sweet. Okay, if that's the water line. Okay, I don't want to get this, we'll see how this works. I don't want to get it so tiny that if I get too much information, then it's going to be, so. Just kind of massing these in, and then we'll do some wiping out. Got another one back there. And again, these little buds. And even though the water's not up that high, I may bring it up so I get the effect that I want. We may bring it up so it's in the picture. Hopefully you don't get bored with watching these similar subjects. I mean, I wouldn't have to film, but again, hopefully you enjoy watching. We're going to get our little scraper and do some scraping in places where I don't want this dark color. This is a little scraper by Catalyst. You know, I don't want any of this. I may have to wipe it off. It's kind of grabbing on this little panel. Yeah, we may have to wipe it off. That whole flower is catching nice light, and then the bottom of this one, and just a little bit of that one. And you know how much I love the blue bottle. I debated about doing the little blue-green bottle, but I went with a clear one. Huh. See, I'm wiping back. It looks like I'm kind of wiping into this acrylic, so it makes me think this acrylic isn't quite dry. When I did make sure, I'm going to wipe over a little bit. I don't want to fight anything that's wet. I did that workshop last year with Shelby Keefe, if you remember that, and you know, she tones in bright acrylics, and she gets into them pretty quick after she tones. I do a lot of birds on these 4x4s usually for these shows, but I wanted to do a variety. You know, people like flowers. These are water mixable oils, so I'm cleaning off my brush. I think we'll use a bristle brush to paint this. Maybe we'll get some texture that way. All right, I think what we'll do, in no particular order, I'm going to lay in, I'm actually going to mix a few values for the flowers. Maybe 3 values. I'm using my 2 reds. There's nothing very dark on there. The inside of this one's darker, a little bit back in here. And then the lightest part of it's kind of a orangey red. Yeah, lucky me, I ended up in a, gosh, beautiful place yesterday. I'm working on a commission and I'm painting these people's backyard, and they have big stone fountain in the back, and so I went over to their home. Nobody was home, and worked on it some from their patio. Cool place to be. I thought, life is good. Okay, so I'm going to start and put in the darker part of the red. And I'm trying to keep it painterly. This third bloom back here, you can't see much of it. I moved them around, and I really kind of wanted to see these little tiny, there's like 3 little red buds right there, and I like that. So okay, I'm kind of squinting and seeing what looks lighter, but not my lightest light. That's my lightest light, but as you can tell, I've cooled it off, so I'm not sure how I feel about that because I lightened it with white. So I'm going to add more orange to it because I want it to be warm. There's a little bit of it there. And under the edge of there. We may have to paint those in again, you know, when we get the background color in. Mixing up a very dark green. Nope, we're going to put a little bit of yellow, lighten it up a little bit. The stem of this flower actually is a warmer color. And again, we may have to paint back over some of this. And the stem in the bottle's right about there, which that may be a little fat, but that's not a problem. Yeah, that's catching a lot of light right there. And we may have to, you know, it's a little early for the palette knife, but we may have to use a palette knife on it. That feels too, too white. Yeah, it's warmer like that. And there's actually, you won't hardly see them, but there's actually 3 stems. A little bit of center on that flower. All right, let's move on. Let's look at the bottle. It's a gray color. So we can just take some of this orangey red we mixed up and start with that. We'll put some blue in it. We'll put some yellow in it, or other primaries. And some white. Okay, I'm gonna, and then now I'm judging it to see, and I'm going to add more blue. You know, you just want something kind of neutral. Yeah, I think I've finished that commission, but I haven't sent it to them yet. I'm going to photograph the image and see what they think. They like my style, which of course is nice, and you know, they don't want it super tight, but it's a very manicured scene, so it's tricky. All right, let's start looking at our little bottle. Kind of a gray green that I came up with, and that's okay. I like that. This little edge here is lighter. Looking for these darker areas. We could do the water line. We could not do the, I don't think it matters, you know, whether it would add anything to it. You know, I'm probably not going to put a lot of information in the bottle. I'm looking back and forth to see where my highlights are. Let's mix up something for the background. What would be attractive? The flowers are orangey reds, and the bottle's green, more green, gray green, which is a compliment. It's always tricky and hard to know. You know, do we want to go lighter, darker? I feel like I want to go lighter. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a good amount of white and we'll slowly introduce that bottle color into it and then see how that looks. You know, it's all a guess. If you don't like it, you do it over. I'm going to pull it a little more gold, I think. Okay, as I do this, I'm going to look at the shape of these flowers. And we may have to come back and explain some of these things when we're done. Like these little red buds. You know, I don't get big money for these little paintings, so there's a limit to how much time you want to spend on them too, you know. Picked up some of the red. A little bit of solvent on there, so maybe this will move better. leave that little bit of color popping through, kind of like that. I didn't put the bottle straight toward me. I did kind of angle it a little bit. I think that's part of the reason the shoulders don't quite feel the same height to me. Put a little more texture in here. It's kind of fun on a little tiny painting. Around on all my stuff. I'm going to take a little brush . Separate these, and I just can't do it with that big one. Those little buds that they're now that they're in there, I don't know for sure. I'm thinking I don't like them so much now that they're there. I should probably move them then so I can see the neck of that bottle. Isn't that funny? You start off thinking that's a great idea. I don't like it as much now that I see it. see a bright light here. I want to explain his neck. Not sure why I got that light there actually. I'm going darker. All right. I'll think about the buds. I can always put them back, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling them. All right. And I'll let it set up a while before I sign it. Well, that was quick, like a half an hour. Like I said, it's only a 4x4, so I don't want to put too much time into it. I'll put my mat on. Try to do that, sticking it right on the painting, right? So it's just a simple, little cute painting. I've got to do a little work there on the neck of on the shoulder of the bottle. But all right, a little quickie for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll probably be doing more of these little guys. Come up with other. I'm thinking, like I said, different kinds of flowers, more flowers probably. But got to hurry. Season's getting late and flowers are disappearing on me. All right, thanks again for joining me, and please like and subscribe if you haven't done that, and I'll see you soon. Good night.